The president of the USGA gave out the Youth Leadership Award at the AJGA Rolex Tournament of Champions last week. I had the opportunity to talk one-on-one exclusively with President Jim Vernon about the AJGA, the U.S. Open, and the world's #1 golfer, Tiger Woods. Talk about the President's Award and the AJGA and the USGA's involvement with this.
Well, the AJGA does a great job running its tournament schedule and preparing golfers, to get scholarship for college and then preparing them for a career in golf. But they also have with it the President's Award and the Leadership Club, and it's a recognition that we all may love golf, but there's a lot more involved in life than golf itself. So it's an effort to encourage the participants to give back to golf and to their community.
There's nothing like the national championship in the U.S. Open, but I don't know if there's ever been one quite with the drama that this past one was. Just your thoughts on Torrey Pines.
Yeah, it was just a great championship. I was fortunate enough to be there, of course, for it, and actually walked with Tiger for 3 of his 5 rounds. So he and Rocco put on quite a show for us in that playoff.
About round number 3, I can't remember a round number 3 that had such a final round feel to it. It felt like Saturday was almost a Sunday.
It was, and it's part of that is due to the fans in San Diego too. They were really out there cheering and getting involved in it. And of course, the golf course was set up beautifully, so these players could demonstrate just how good they are.
I know it might be a tough question, but us living in the Midwest, it was so nice to have that so late in the day, to be able to watch Saturday. Is that something that, normally it's been in the East a little bit, is it something that the U.S. Open might be more in that time zone in the future?
Well, one of our goals is to make the broadcast available to as many golfers as possible. And of course, when we're on the West Coast, as we're going to be a number of times over the next few years, it's a great opportunity to make that broadcast available right into prime time on the East, and therefore available to everybody across the country. It's pretty good.
Let's talk about Tiger Woods' performance. It's hard to come up with adjectives to describe. Of course, we didn't know the pain that he was going through at the time, but now that you know everything, kind of reflect back on his rounds.
Well, I was with Tiger in his first round, as well as a couple others, and it was clear to me from the first day on, he was in a lot of pain. I had commented to one of my fellow officials at the end of the round that I wasn't sure he'd be back the second day. He was really hurting, so I was not so surprised to hear later how seriously he was injured. But that's just a phenomenal performance, to be able to focus on your game while every time you swing the club you're going to have pain shooting up your leg. I don't know how he did it.
How is he as an ambassador to the game of golf and the growth of golf?
It doesn't get much better. I've followed Tiger and actually worked some of his events since he was a teenager back in Southern California, and I've watched him develop both as a golfer and as a human being. Of course, he had great parents who really helped instill the values that he now demonstrates so well. Can't think of any better ambassadors. We have some great ones in golf, and Tiger's right there at the top.
President Vernon had literally just gotten to Victoria National at the time of the interview, so he wasn't familiar enough to talk about our course. But the 2009 U.S. Open is at Bethpage in New York State. Hopefully Tiger Woods has made a full recovery from his knee injury by then.